Did you know that preparing to pitch to Walmart can be easily compared to baking a cake? Well, it can. If you have a toy product that you want to get into Walmart, you'll need this video to show you how to make that happen. Walmart works with toy suppliers, that's you, at all stages, from those who just have a concept to those who already have a prototype. If you have an idea that makes a Walmart buyer, aka a Walmart merchant, think, why haven't I seen that before? They will put you in touch with the best partners to make your product real if you need that level of help. Erin Fish and Lisa Bowman lead this video and share the ins and outs of what a successful product pitch looks like to Walmart. This video is filled with visual aids, so if you're a visual learner, make sure that you watch and not just listen to this talk. By the end of this video, you will know the 6 ingredients that make up a perfect pitch to Walmart, with the most important ingredient being to bring the passion for your product idea to the meeting. Ready to find out the other 5? Let's dive in.
Hi guys, good afternoon. I am Erin Fish and I am the merchandising director for Girl Fashion. And here with me is my partner in crime in the world of girls, Lisa Bowman. She and I actually have our aisles adjacent to each other and sit through hundreds of pitches throughout the year. It feels like we're in a never-ending cycle of new toys. Just to give you guys a little bit of background, I've been with Walmart now for 2 years, but prior to that, I actually spent 10 years pitching Walmart as a supplier and on some pretty large brands actually in the girls space. So I'm really excited to share with you in partnership with Lisa today some of the ins and outs and ingredients to what a successful pitch looks like. Because I'll tell you, I've had some great ones and I've had some really bad ones. And I think you learn from both. Lisa, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
Hi, everyone. Lisa Bowman again. As you know, I've been with Walmart for about 20 years plus. Started out in stores, and I've been a merchant in toys now for about 8 years on the girls' side. And again, Erin is my partner in crime, and we work very closely together to ensure we have the best products out there for our customers.
All right, Shannon, if you want to move to the next slide. So in this session, what we want to ensure that you guys get out of this, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at the end for some questions, and we can take some more questions during the panel at the very end of the day. But we really want to help you create a standout pitch presentation. What ingredients are necessary in order to make that presentation successful? And then something that is, pretty specific to Walmart, because the goal of this is really for all of you who are inventing and creating to help kind of bring your dream to reality, like the story that Lisa shared earlier after the keynote regarding Angie, who came to a WIT session and pitched to a Walmart buying team and brought her item to shelf a year later. And then the last piece is we have some resources that I think the WIT team will also share with you on how you start to do business with Walmart. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Next slide. So creating the standout pitch is like baking a cake. There are 6 simple ingredients to baking a cake. The perfect cake has butter, eggs, milk, baking soda, flour, and Lisa and I's favorite cake also has chocolate. I think everybody's favorite cake has chocolate. So those are 6 ingredients. But the good news today is we're going to share with you the 6 ingredients needed to make your product pitch, that dream you have, an actual reality. Layer by layer, our goal is to give you the tools to build that success. Next slide.
So for Walmart merchants, we like to keep it simple with the 6 Ps. Be prepared, be passionate, be proactive, be personal, be patient, And most importantly, be a partner. Here's a short clip to provide you some more detail on how the 6 Ps can help you prepare for a product pitch presentation.
All right, working on it. Give me 1 second. It'll get ready.
I feel like this is one of those moments that you guys probably all experience when your technical stuff doesn't work in a pitch. Thanks, Shannon.
Doing the best we can. Here we go.
We're here today to talk to you about the 6 Ps for open call. Number 1, be prepared. Be ready to talk about your product, have samples ready, and any presentations. Number 2, be passionate. This is your moment with a Walmart and Sam's Club merchant. Bring your A game and show enthusiasm. You are your biggest ambassador. And number 3, be proactive. Know the market, know the competition, and know your customer. Go to stores and clubs to understand what makes your item stand out.
Number 4, be patient. Getting in stores and clubs takes time. Even if the merchants want to move fast, it could be months before anything ships to store. Number 5, be personal. Let us know who you are. You're not a robot, and neither are we. We want to hear it, and it gives merchants confidence in you. Number 6, partner. Be our partner. Give and receive feedback. This tells us that you are confident and will take the initiative to manage the business and lead. That wraps up the 6 Ps. We can't wait to see what you present. Good luck.
Today is just the beginning.
Okay, so as highlighted in the video, when you're preparing for a meeting with a Walmart merchant, there are a few things you need to do. Number 1, be prepared. Come with samples of your product. You will need a final assembled product and the recommended packaging to share at the meeting. And be prepared to demonstrate your product. We're going to want to know how it works. Number 2, know your cost and present your best price up front. If the merchant thinks you're too expensive, they're going to lose trust in you. Giving your best cost helps the merchant understand the value of your product and make faster decisions. Number 3, shop a Walmart store and the Walmart website so you can share a strategy. Don't try and pitch to a Walmart merchant if you've never shopped in their stores or their website before. They're going to know. It's crucial to understand how the product is merchandised and be able to explain how your product fits into the store's overall product lineup. Next, know your customer and offer insights. Be able to explain why the product is important to the Walmart customer. What need is that product solving? What data do you have that this is a viable product that customers will care about? Being able to show the market research you have done will help persuade the buyers that your product will sell. For toys specifically, key trends from media platforms like TikTok and YouTube and Netflix are critical. A focus group of 1 is typically not very compelling. Next, keep it brief and concise. If you take too long, you risk losing interest. Leave room for the buyer to ask you questions. The length of your pitch may vary depending on the number of items you're pitching and how complex they are. However, most supplier meetings last about 30 minutes, including any questions the merchant may have. Keep that time frame in mind as you plan your presentation. And lastly, be memorable. In your short presentation, include images, costing, your business's history, and contact information. This will help the merchant remember you and your products after you leave the meeting.
So once you've prepared for your pitch, it's time to think about how you will present. So we have this great cartoon here. Our startup idea is like Uber meets Warby Parker, meets Birchbox, meets Snapchat, meets Etsy, meets something we haven't thought of yet. You had us at like Uber. So here's what your merchant is probably thinking when you get down to that meet something we haven't thought of yet. Like Lisa mentioned, you want to really be intentional, bring the passion of your item, but you want to be intentional in terms of the presentation of the item. So I have a question for you. What's more important, product or presentation? Put it in the chat. What do we think? Product or presentation? We're seeing some come in. Oh, wow. Okay.
You got some good answers there, Erin.
We've got some good answers here. All right, Shannon, bring it up. Both. As we mentioned earlier in the 6 Ps, partnering is critical. People do not buy goods and services. They buy relationships, story, and magic. Ensuring that you have both a great product and a great presentation is going to be critical to your success. When you can tell the story of the magic of a great product, you will capture a merchant's attention immediately. You heard the story of Dr. Lisa. Dr. Lisa has pitched both Lisa Bowman and I as it relates to product. She had the product, but she also brought this passion and the why in terms of what she wanted to do in terms of changing the space. When you can tell that story with the magic of a great product, and you have a presentation that is unstoppable, your product will make it to shelf. But that presentation doesn't just stop during the pitch meeting. How you present both the item and the package of how it will come to life, both on a physical shelf and a digital shelf, is critical to the item's success. So when it comes down to getting into the actual pitch meeting, we put kind of side by side what a merchant is considering and then what you should be considering. So the first thing that comes to mind for a merchant is, does the product solve a customer need? So what's really important for you to know, like Lisa mentioned earlier, is to really know that shopper. And in the toy space, it could be the mom or the gifter, or it could be the kid, depending on the age grading, and what that product is solving for. Is the product disruptive, different for the category? Keep in mind that these buyers see lots of product that may not have been in market yet. So know what you don't know and understand that potentially there could be product that's out there or coming that they already know about. Know those loopholes. Does the product quality deliver on customer expectations? And I know when we get into the digital shelf conversation with our merchandising team, with Shilpa and Jessica in a few minutes, they'll talk a little bit about the importance of how product quality is brought to life on site. This is one of the most important aspects of an item as customers are researching, is the product quality. As the pitch person, be a charismatic storyteller highlighting these features and benefits. Does the product provide good value to the customer? At the end of the day, customers only have so many dollars that they can vote on products with. So improvise, engage, and interact. Sell your dream.
But most importantly, have fun. This is toys. When pitching in a category centered around play, you're bound to have fun while you work to get your item listed. You show that energy to that merchant, they're going to buy in quicker. Next slide. Now that you're ready to pitch our team, there are several resources available to help you become a supplier at Walmart. There are specialized programs focused on increasing both women-owned, diverse, and Made in America supplier partners. WIT will be providing the list of the resources displayed here. Thank you for your time, and we will see you in the Q&A session this afternoon.
Hey, Shannon, since we have a little bit of extra time, do you want to go ahead and open up for a few questions?
Yep, I was about to say the same thing. So perfect. Thank you both so much for sharing all of that insight, and having seen so many pitches, it's wonderful to get to hear this directly from you of what you're looking for and how people can prepare best for their pitch. So if anyone has questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A box. We've got about, let's see, a few minutes here. We can definitely spend on some Q&A. I know there's some questions out there about pitching. So go ahead and drop them in. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat and the Q&A box as much as I can. So one that came in already is, what stage does Walmart work with inventors? So could it be a mom that's got an idea and maybe has a prototype, market validation? How far along in the process do people need to be to get involved with Walmart?
Lisa, you want to take that one?
Oh, I was just going to have you take it. I mean, we work with various stages, obviously. At the earlier stages, we're hoping that we can maybe have you partner with a supplier or with someone else to help you get to that stage. But, we do meet with various people pitching at various stages. Erin, I don't know what your experiences have been.
Yeah, I mean, I think we will start from a sketch if that's what you have. I think it comes down to the viability of bringing that item to life, like Lisa mentioned. If you have an item that you think is viable and we think has legs to it, we can also help facilitate in terms of different partners you can work with. If you're already in kind of a proto mode, that's fine too. We work with things that are completely baked or, big ideas with a lot of our partners as we go into our different buying cycles.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, I love this question that just came in. How would you recommend somebody recovers from a bad pitch, or maybe something that didn't go as well as they had hoped? What do you recommend?
I have had plenty of bad pitches, and I think the opportunity is to take the learnings and ask for the feedback. So if you feel like the pitch didn't go well and your item didn't make it, it's asking for the feedback on what you think could be done differently. That's one thing as a supplier in my 10 years in terms of working with Walmart, the buying team is pretty open in terms of, here are the reasons why this might not work. And some of those you can't always share exactly what that is, but you can get a sense if it's, there might be, competitive product, etc. Or we don't see the market for that. That's why it's really critical you do kind of your research up front. Lisa talked about that a little bit in terms of really knowing that customer and knowing trends. We are social media mavens. I'm telling you, Lisa's watched more
Correct.
TikTok than departments that Joel has created product for in his
My
20+
team's
years.
favorite thing is to take my phone and see how many hours a day I spend on TikTok.
And you know what? The kids, that's the thing. Kids will tell you what they want. Not your own kid. You need to hear from like the millions/billions of views within social media to get a good sense of what the trends are.
I mean, we developed an entire product line based on a trend I saw on TikTok that no one even knew about for some reason. But it had a bazillion views. Parents never heard of it, but the kids all knew what it was. It was amazing.
Wow, that's amazing. When it comes to, this is an interesting question around brand or character. So if there's kind of an entertainment piece or a character piece to something, what expectation do you have of how well fleshed out that brand or character around maybe your toy invention needs to be, and how important is that specific content?
So just for clarity, Shannon, the question's around how fleshed out does the character need to be from the content?
I would say, yeah, the character and the content compared to maybe the invention. So if there's a brand that's associated with an invention or a product, how thought out does the character part need to be?
I when we did the licensing, we did a licensing panel a few months back for women in toys, and we talked a little bit about this. I think when you are tying product to content, it is critically important that that product is tied to key emotional moments in that content. That's when it really works. That's when the toy really works, is when that content has an impact on the viewer. And this could be, theatrical content. I call it big screen, small screen content. That's why we see, when we see things on TikTok, as an example, Lisa was talking about the billions of views of this product that she co-created with a partner. It was connecting with kids at a sensory level. And so it's the same thing when you're working in what we would call licensed product. There has to be an emotional tie to that moment in the content in order for what we've seen be successful in terms of toys.
Yeah, absolute shout out to Erin for being a part of our Innovation Summit last fall. If anyone participated in that event, I remember so clearly the story that you told about I think it was the Blue's Clues, blue with the ears covering the eyes, is just such a great example of how it doesn't necessarily have to be, super complicated, but it's when you're bringing that magical moment to life through a product. So if you're a WIT member, definitely check the archives on that one. I actually think it's on the website page for anyone who wants to check that one out. There's some really great stories in that panel from Erin. So I appreciate you bringing that back up for sure. So a question that we also are seeing in a few different ways here is, do you pitch to any buyer at Walmart? Do you pitch to a specific buyer at Walmart? Is there a buyer for children's books or different, what are the different types of buyers, and how do you look at, that as an inventor?
Every buyer that has their own categories. Like I said, Erin and I cover the girls' world, and so there'll be different buyers across the entire company who buy for the various categories. And I think we have some of the links on how to get into Walmart that you guys are going to share, that were on that slide that Erin shared. But yeah, I can't tell you how many buyers are at Walmart. There's a lot of them, hundreds.
And you guys, sometimes, there are places where Lisa and I are dealing with it right now. Like, we're not sure, the supplier's not sure where it lives. If we look at the core toys business, does this live with preschool or the girl activity space, or, girl fashion small doll space? And so we'll coordinate with each other. If we've seen something and we're like, I'm not sure if it belongs to me, we'll connect that individual to another buyer. I think the biggest piece, Lisa also mentioned this, prepare, right? These 6 Ps, I liken it to my chocolate cake, like the 6 layers here. The preparation piece is so important, because if you get on the upfront of this, then as we're working through this cycle, we're able to kind of shift it over so we can make sure that that supplier can get in front of the other buyer within their timeline, because we're beholden to a master calendar.
Okay, yeah.
And Joel's smiling because he helps manage.
Saying Joel's that. So, and I think also to your point too, with category, I think Lisa mentioned this, is shopping at the store and taking a look and walking the aisles and seeing where, if you can imagine where it might fit, that advice I think is so great for that question too, of figuring out, where it might live. And to that point too, somebody just asked, where does a gender neutral toy option live potentially? How does that work?
I think almost all our categories actually are gender neutral. I know most of mine are, and I think we don't specifically try. I know we kept saying girls. It's just, I think, something we've gotten to the habit of saying, but honestly, we don't merchandise that way. And most of my categories, like I said, would have, what you would call traditional, which, we don't really go for anymore, but boy or girl toys. Ours are mixed together in my category. We definitely don't do that. We don't want to tell a child or give the impression to a child that you shouldn't buy this toy or play with this toy.
Yeah, it's probably more along the lines of play pattern. But again, it gives you by going either shopping the website, or walking the aisles at retail, you'll get a good sense. A lot of it, at least, is from an age perspective.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense.
Or play pattern.
Right. And are there any specific toy or game categories or types of products? I know you mentioned, trends and things like that, but are there any things that you're looking for or that Walmart shares that they're looking for from inventors?
The next hot trend is what I'm always looking for. Honestly, I don't need 10 million versions of what I already have. I will always challenge, my suppliers to bring me something that I haven't seen, and it's not, I'm not saying it's easy, it's not, but I think we all have to be out there looking what's next. What's the next viral toy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If anyone can figure it out in this audience, I'm sure there's somebody. So it's wonderful to, hear about, searching TikTok. I bet that we're seeing a lot of downloads in the audience today of TikTok, and the scrolling will continue. I know personally, I have lost probably weeks of my life to that app as well. So I'm with you, Lisa, on that one. But it's unfortunately not so much a part of my job, but we'll see. We just got a really good question around authors and books. So there's been a few questions around books. So if there's, you're trying to get your books in stores or, looking at different kinds of books or characters or things around books and publishing, how does that fit into the conversation here?
I mean, I think as it relates to books specifically and publishing, there are a lot of publishers that are out there, and Walmart typically buys through partners who are a platform for multiple publishers. So if it's toy product that is tied to book content, we obviously see that. But as it relates to books, that's a different category.
Okay, great question. And thanks for that answer. I know we've gotten a few people who are interested in books, so it's, maybe find a toy that ties to it. It'd be great. So another question was around, is it better to show, let's say you have a line of some toys that you've, come up with, is it better to show the whole entire line or individual items? And what's the preference from you all for maybe a first meeting over, line versus individual items?
I mean, I think for me, like Erin said earlier, the 30 minutes is generally the timeline for your first initial meeting. I think you want to be able to show the breadth of what you're able to do, but also, make sure the buyer or the merchant understands the priority. Then focus on your top items. That's how I would look at it. What's the most important? Because you don't want me focusing on your number 25 item. You want me focused on what you think is going to be your big bet item. But you also want to show, you have to just balance the presentation.
Great. I'm trying to keep up with all the questions coming in. So let me just do a quick search here again. We'll ask one or two more. Let's see. Is there a difference in pitching a private label concept versus, private label concept to license versus a finished product? Did I ask that correctly? Is there a difference in pitching you a private label concept to license versus a final product?
I'm not sure I quite understand the question as far as you're looking to pitch, someone looking to pitch a specific item into an existing private brand or pitching a new private brand. I guess
Yeah, Mary Jo, if you're there and have some ability to clarify that, I will try to ask it again too. Not exactly sure. Oh, so into an existing private brand versus a new one, I think.
I mean, for me, I've had pitches where someone has said, "Hey, I've seen this brand," and they're looking to become a supplier partner, and then I assess them on an individual basis based on what they're bringing to me. And if I feel like it's something that's viable, I will put them into contact with my private brand team.
Wonderful, thank you. Another question was around knowing your pricing. So are there certain pricing margin ranges that are expected, or what kind of pricing should people be looking at? Is there anything that you can share around that?
I think it varies by category, right? And I think once you get a viable product to pitch, it's a great conversation to have in that buyer pitch meeting. And I think we highlighted how important it is to leave, they're usually about 30 minutes long, to leave a few minutes at the end for Q&A so that you can have a conversation around cost and margin expectations, because it really and truly does vary. It varies across the entire box in terms of what the benchmarks are.
And I think also just we touched on it in the 6 Ps is bring your best cost. You know, don't worry about the retail, what that's going to end up being, because the retailer sets the retail. Bring your best cost, and then the conversation will start at that point. But don't go in thinking you've got to, you know, I don't want you to come in going, well, I can come in with this retail and I can kind of get this margin. I just want you to bring your best cost.
Great advice. Bring your best cost. Write that down, everybody. That's good. This is a really great question as well. And I know a lot of our attendees are women in toys, licensing, and entertainment, of course. That women sometimes, maybe we find it a little bit harder to be taken seriously or have our voices heard in, you know, different environments when it comes to work. What advice can you give to young women or just any women in the audience who might have these kinds of aspirations, inventor aspirations, or even career product aspirations that might struggle to be heard or kind of have their confidence boost in that realm?
Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic question. And I think that you are absolutely correct. Sometimes though, I think Dr. Lisa talked about it a little bit about there's those external voices and there's those internal voices. And if you have your true north and you know what it is that you want to do, and you feel like you're doing the right thing, you have to kind of put those voices down, and you have to go. And I think, you know, one of the reasons, you know, we're doing all this today is because Walmart is incredibly passionate about growing our supplier base. Lisa and I, both females, have been in this industry. I've been on both sides. Lisa's been with Walmart for 20 years. We want females pitching us. We want female-led companies with product on our shelves. It is critical to the success of our future business that women are coming into this industry and designing product for children. Like I would say probably majority of you who are on this call have your own children or have children in your lives. And so we need women in this industry. And that's, you know, one of the reasons why us as a team are doing this today, because we need more female suppliers in our supplier base, and developing product and bringing the female perspective to retail. It's critically important.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for championing all the women here and for, I think, encouraging women to give it a try, you know. And I think hearing that Walmart wants more women inventors, well, here's an audience full of them. So if you're out there and listening to this, you know, this is your opportunity. They're looking for your pitches. So we really appreciate it. Erin, Lisa, thank you so much for, you know, doing such a deep dive into these really great questions. And thanks so much to everyone in the audience for asking them.
So, are you ready to pitch to Walmart? Well, there are specialized programs focused on increasing both women-owned, diverse, and Native American supplier partners. You'll find the links to those programs in the workbook that goes along with this video. But time for our really quick quiz. What are the 6 ingredients to a successful pitch at Walmart? They all start with the word be as a reminder. Go. Okay, if you don't know, I'll remind you, I'll tell you, but if you do know, great job. The 6 ingredients you need for a pitch are this. 1, be prepared. Come with a working and packaged product to a pitch meeting. 2, be passionate. This is the toy industry, remember? Show your passion in that meeting. 3, be proactive. Know the Walmart store, know the products they already carry, and know the Walmart customer. 4, be personal. Make sure the merchant knows you. Don't forget to give your contact information, and definitely don't forget to share the personal story behind your brand and why you made it. 5, be patient. The merchant team works on a strict timeline, so sometimes even if they want to move forward on a product, they can't until another buying cycle rolls around. And most importantly, number 6, be a partner. Work with Walmart. Bring them your best pricing, your best quality product, and show Walmart that you truly care about their customer as much as they do. When you're ready, check out the workbook that goes along with this video.